Hey guys, welcome to another video, and in today's episode we are carrying on with our Let's Talk kind of series that we have going on, where we're going over every single roster from the NLC Div 1 for spring. In today's episode we are obviously going over Singularity. Obviously it was supposed to come out yesterday, but it's come out today, as yesterday I was just way too tired after work. So today we are covering Singularity. Singularity, obviously, as an organisation, have a rich history within the top division of the NLC after competing in the NLC for quite a long time at the moment. Obviously, last year they finished very strongly and have had obviously quite a bit of success within the top division of the Nordic region. They finished fourth and third last year, so in spring and summer respectively. Obviously, with this new structure of the NLC, it offered a fresh start, and Singularity are one organisation that kind of did something that kind of shocked a lot of people within the scene. They made an announcement that they would be partnering with UK University Roehampton. With this, obviously, they had a vision of building a roster fully made up of only students from university. So it was only players that are students at universities. This obviously meant that all of the regions within the Nordic could kind of get involved, but obviously there was under one condition, that they had to be a uni student to join the roster. This idea mainly has come across that they are doing it to allow for uni students to balance between studying for university and also competing at the highest level in esports, which is a great thing to have, because obviously there is a lot of untapped potential, and obviously trying to focus, I guess, more on the uni scene. There's obviously quite a lot of untapped potential within university scenes that might not be able to compete in these sorts of leagues because of the time constraints that come with playing at the top level of League of Legends. From this partnership with Roehampton, S&G picked up one student from Roehampton, Jojo, who I'm very good friends with. He has become their manager for this kind of upcoming split, and very early on they announced that Rai will become their head coach. He's obviously the ex-owner of Resolve. He previously has coaching experience. He's even coached the Singularity female team back in the summer of 2020. So those two are making up the main kind of structure of the staff team that S&G have there. First off, I mean, with their roster, they have got their top laner Tatuai or Tati, who has obviously got plenty of experience within the Nordic scene. He's played most of his time with Kova when they first won the Telia Masters, which gained them promotion into the NLC, and obviously what the old structure of the NLC looked like. After that, he went on to play two splits for the organisation, placing 7th to 8th and also 6th. Since then, he's played in the GLL, playing for UDG, and Demise in the NLC calibration. Moving on, looking at their jungler Porp, he's not going to be a name that a lot of people really know, unless you're big fans of the UK university scene. That's where he's obviously got most of his playing experience. He plays for a team called Cabbage Family, where they have won Spring 2021, and they came second in NUL 2020 winter and in spring of 2021. Cabbage Family within the UK university scene have always been seen as a top 3 university team, and that in part is due to Porp, who is probably one of their standout players for the team. This is obviously his rookie kind of split as a starting jungler in like a Nordic kind of scene. As I mentioned, most of his experience comes within the uni scene. He has previously been a sub on Barrage Academy in the summer of 2020, where he's probably gained quite a lot of experience from working with that roster. But as I said, most of his kind of playing experience is from the uni scene. So this is definitely going to be a pretty big step up in terms of competition. Moving on, Danish mid laner Mutter is the person that S&G have picked up in the mid lane. He's had a brief spell with Flong Elite in the Danish Winter Showdown. That's his most recent kind of performing. But most people will know Mutter from his time spent within the German scene. He's played a lot of splits around the kind of Div, the old version of the Div 1 and Div 2. When he played in Div 2, he was able to promote that team into Div 1. So the majority of his playing time has been in the Div 1 of what the old Prime League kind of scene looked like. Um, Moving on to their bot lane, Spique and Yepe. These two have got a lot of kind of Nordic regional experience, and not quite the top division in Nordics, but a lot of regional experience. Spique has played most of his splits within the Telia Sweden kind of sort of leagues, and Yepe has played the last kind of three splits. The last two for London, and the one before that, he played for MRG Academy. He's had a lot of its success within those splits. He's placed second and first with London, and another second place finish with MRG Academy in the summer of 2020. In those kind of splits, he's definitely stood out as a very, very top support player, obviously in those regional leagues, not having the best of Telemasters success, but definitely in the regional leagues he played very well and very impressive in those leagues. Obviously, I think a lot of this roster will come down to kind of massive steps up in competitions for a lot of these players, primarily looking at the bot lane and jungler. You can kind of say that the top laner and mid laner for these kind of for this team specifically have had a little bit of experience with these sorts of players, but when we're looking at all the rest of the rosters that have been put together, these players, the jungler Porp and the bot lane of Spique and Yepe, are definitely going to be tested, especially in the early stages. But I hope they stick with this roster, and I hope it develops how this kind of team want to. And I do in some ways what they're trying to do at SNG with allowing these university players to experience this sort of kind of high level competitive play, which they definitely wouldn't in any other circumstance. It'll be interesting to hear what sort of things that they're doing, whether this means that they're having to sacrifice scrim time to allow them to study, or whether there's certain things in place for this sort of roster. It would be very interesting, maybe at the end of this split, to hear from the players about what sort of things they did to allow them to balance the both and stuff like that. So I think it'd definitely be something that a lot of other organizations could learn from as well, ways of making university studying easier to balance with the kind of strenuous scrim schedule that comes with this kind of top ERL or major ERL kind of schedule that they need to have as well. So that's SNG. Let me know your thoughts on this roster in obviously the comments below, and stay tuned for the dusty one coming soon. Bye bye.